Hi. Taking a leap of faith right now. I am being called to make this video. And it's so funny because I was doing Kundalini yoga earlier, and in my Sakriya, I do it with the sound of a man's voice saying Satnam, Satnam over and over again. And I was reminded that energy, it pushes you to do things that you don't think you can do. That very masculine energy reminds us of how brave we can be. And sometimes I shy away from that braveness. Sometimes I hide away in the grace of what it's like to be a woman, even though I fail to give myself grace. It's very strange. I definitely hold a lot of space for myself. And I find all the ways to provide self-care and preach self-care and really gift it to myself and others in a way that we can find healing in that space. And then I always assumed that being very masculine would come easier to me because it's just the way I've moved in the world for a long time. But in the last few years, it's been really hard for me to find the assertiveness I was accustomed to. And I find that I hide away a lot more. This is very embarrassing for me to be making this video. Just to be viewed and looked at by others. I didn't even have a chance to put a bra on. Like, they were just like, come, speak, just be here. And I'm like, all right, cool, but I'm not used to this. At least let me put some chapstick on, because my lips was like dry. If you've ever done Kundalini yoga, it has a funny way of just drying your lips up, because it's like a constant breathing and constant repetition of certain words, certain kriyas that we say. And so I put some chapstick on, because I was like, you got my titties out and you got my hair out and you don't let me put chapstick? No, we're not doing that. But they did show me this book as I was in my rest mode, in my savasana. And so I'm going to read today's passage. This is from Iyanla Vanzant, Acts of Faith, Daily Meditations for People of Color. I didn't read it until now, and now I see. If you always do what you always did, you will always get what you always got. Jackie, Moms Mabley. Can you imagine not doing what you're doing in your life right now, but doing something completely different? Something exciting, fun, even risky, like quitting your job and traveling the world, or working part-time and going to school full-time to study scuba diving or basket weaving, or owning your own home, business, plane, or boat. If you can imagine it, why aren't you doing it? I'll tell you why. Because the moment you think about it, you think about all the reasons you can't. How will I pay my bills? Who will take care of my family? Where would I get money? What will people say? Well, here's another question for you. How do you ever expect to be happy or at peace if you stay where you are? if you don't allow yourself to dream, to dare, to move up, out, forward, how will you ever know what you're really capable of? Look at it this way. What's the worst that can happen? You could end up right where you started, doing exactly what you are doing. Oh, what the heck? Go for it anyway. And there's a portion here that has a reflection. I'm only shedding tears right now. Well, I'm shedding tears because the tears are coming out and I have no control over them. But I didn't get to read this. I usually read a passage from this book when I'm called to. Most of the time it's after I do the Sakriya. And I didn't get to read this today. And I see why they had me read it at this point. They being my guides, my ancestors, my guardian angels, who brought me to make this video. Something of which I have been very hesitant. Just fighting it every which way, convincing myself every which way that I'm not supposed to be here. Who am I to be here? Who am I to speak to you? Well, I'm Claribel. I am Bella. I am Bella La Flor. I am Titty Tarot. I go by many names. But my birth name is Claribel. And I'm here because I want to show you some ways of healing, or at least some ways that have worked for me for healing certain traumas. Trauma in general. And for coming back to yourself. For holding yourself, mothering yourself, loving yourself so deeply, so honestly, so purely, that it becomes really easy for you to tell when that's not happening in your life. When others are not giving it to you, when you yourself are not giving it to yourself. Because life has a funny way to lead by hate and anger and anguish. And it has a funny way of pushing that on us. Of making it feel like it's ours. And sometimes some of that anger is ours. And a lot of times it's not. We have to be able to decipher between what's our hurt and what hurt was placed on us. This passage has a reflection as we're reflecting together. It says, when is the last time you dared to dream big? Move up, out and forward, even though you didn't believe you could get there. What did you discover? Oh, I stopped myself from dreaming a lot. That's the honest truth. A lot of the dreams I've had felt too big for someone like me who grew up having not much of anything. But I guess the biggest dream I've had is that love surrounds me always. And the most beautiful dream I've had is that I can fly, that I soar to the sky, that I move through all the different parts of my life and I spread love to those parts that needed it the most. And I have that dream often. But I never knew that I was able to really sprinkle some magic, right? Because think about, if you can go back in time and change something, or if you can go back in time and speak to your younger self, what would you say? What would you do? And so I find that in the dream world, we have the ability to meet those spaces and be in those spaces and share with little you what you wish you heard, what you wish you felt. And so I sit with her today because she was all about the theatrics. She would put on shows for her family. She was very silly, fucking hilarious, and just very beautifully honest. And that would get her in trouble a lot. But she never stopped being herself. In all spaces, she was always there. Even when she didn't feel like her basic needs were met, she was always there. And I thank her for that. Because I know that she got me through all the things. As I learned to heal today, all the wounds that she experienced. Because she too needed somebody to stand with her. And I love that time is an illusion and that I get to go into this dream state and fly back to her and stand with her and hold her hand. Because everything is going to be okay. And she is okay. She's fucking more than okay. She's fabulous. She moves in spaces that others fear to move through. And even though I've convinced myself that I'm afraid to leap and to put myself out there, there she goes with her fucking theatrics. There she goes with no shame. There she goes, allowing herself to be seen so that others do not forget who she is. She is so fucking brave. I am so fucking brave. I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to figure out how to send this message to you all. And I'll be back. I don't think I have a choice. I'll have to come back one way or another, and hopefully I'll be able to put on some clothes like more properly. This is my pajamas. I'm going to sleep very soon. But I want to teach you some fun things that I do to connect with myself, to connect with the younger me, and really just tactical ways of tapping in to your intuition, to your higher self, to listening to spirit, and allowing it to guide you so that you can find yourself whole. Okay, I think it's time. I'm gonna go. Again, my name is Claribel. I will see you soon. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you being here and sharing space with me. And yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next time. I don't think I have any control over this. Okay. Mwah. Ciao. Good night.